IDK, we have You See For Yourself, 17 songs, 43 minutes long. I hate trying to read that album title out loud every time because it's all caps and collapsed together. So it's just everything I love in music times 10. Also, Vince did make his album all caps, so that's one Dean point. So sorry, I gotta stay true to my word on that. I don't care who you are.
Fair, balanced, and unafraid.
Anyway, so it's just
I'll say for starters, it's a different
approach to the same topic of Vince Staples' album. It's a very different approach, but kind of the same idea of everything about introspective, looking into yourself. What does one have of feelings and other stuff and whatnot? But a completely different approach to it. Exactly. Yeah. As you were saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, it starts off with a little interlude because every rapper likes to put out an old phone number of somebody's, or maybe one of their old phone numbers or of a burner phone or something. So it's 301-809-1821, which you definitely know is like
see you in the fun half.
301 is definitely LA area code. So
wait, is that no? That's 310.
Or is that 310? Oh, I missed that. Never mind.
301 area code is, according to Google. Well, we'll banter and then I'll figure it out. But it is Maryland.
It's Maryland. Oh, awkward.
Yeah. So
see, that's what happens when you collapse shit together. My brain doesn't do it, and I get my dyslexia over there, and I'm like, wait, 310. Anyways,
niggas talking about his area codes. You know, it's an introspective record.
Does he have a tattoo of 301 on him? Then you know he's gone down the whole rabbit hole of it. Take
a drink every time you hear a voicemail during this rap album.
You're gonna die if you do that.
I don't mean to like make IDK the example here unnecessarily, but rappers need to find a new way to tell stories besides voicemail messages. There's a lot of narrative methods to do this besides voicemail messages. But yeah, the album itself, generally, like you go into it with like Santa Monica Boulevard, and it's like IDK sort of like adapted trap and B. Sometimes it leans more trap, sometimes it leads more like neo-pop R&B kind of style thing. Yeah, for sure. But it's definitely like an adapted thing. The last time we reviewed an IDK project was 2019's Is He Real? And it was like a 35-minute 14 project where it did the same thing, where it was kind of in a fast-paced switching kind of way, doing trap and B and then trap. And it was, you know, sometimes disjointed, but like
it felt super disjointed to me when I listened to it, because I wanted to be a little bit more cohesive. Like I prefer if you do like a top half of your trap and your second half of your kind of more neo pop way, because it doesn't feel too much of a roller coaster. And this happened in this album bit too, because there's some stuff in here I really enjoyed, and other things I was like, whoa, it doesn't make sense in the way that it's put down.
Yeah,
kind of a general problem I have with it, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, like Santa Monica Boulevard, and the contrast between that and Dogs Don't Lie seems like very rough, because Santa Monica Boulevard is like very hard, then Dogs Don't Lie is kind of like a trap and B thing. So that's just like going to be a thing you just get and deal with IDK. But like the quality of the music is perfectly fine, because you get Pradada Bing with IDK and Young Thug. Young Thug always delivers, honestly. 30 minutes or less.
Young Thug and Futures, man, Jesus Christ, we can't say it enough here. His own work is okay, but him on Futures just hits different.
Yeah, he's just phenomenal at it.
Seriously.
Way better than Offset's feature, and I think I'm not gonna even bother with like Offset's feature. It's not great. I will say it's funny how, you know, pregnancy aside, it's funny how Offset's trying so hard to gas up like Culture 3. He's trying to make straightening work really hard. I try to see him on a late night talk show trying to explain what straightening means. It's like, no, so you see, when there's nothing straightening until you do the straightening, and it's rocks. Love it. But Prada Bang, I think is a really good mix of IDK sort of like weirder, more experimental sounds, the things he would like tend to do with like a production that you would have in his music, with, you know, like a more mainstream kind of approach to rap and things like that. So it really works out, actually.
I actually like that track a lot. I thought you have Shoot My Shot with Offset, which I actually don't mind the production of a trap song, but Offset's such a shitty. He's a bad rapper, man. He's not a good feature. Anything he does, he touches, just turns into. It's like when those a cartoon where you touch a plant and it just dies immediately. That's Offset.
The only one in Migos who can rap is Takeoff, legitimately.
Seriously.
The only reason I go back to play the new Migos album, just like in my free time, is because Takeoff has bars and that's about it. And it's not even like that much. It's just like, well, Takeoff's in it, and Takeoff has more songs in this than otherwise. So at least there's that. And then you have the elephant in the room, which is Red, featuring West Side Gun, MF Doom, and Jay Electronica. And in the lead up to, I was just saying, in the lead up to the song, IDK was just like, I am by far most excited for people to hear Red.
It's an experience, to say the least. It's an experience. If you alluded to the podcast earlier, where I told Dan, I was like, there was 2 songs I wish you were here to see my emotions. The first one was Post Malone's single Motley Crue, because of me dying on the floor laughing. And then the next one was Red, of me just literally every 3 seconds saying, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? Whoa, what the hell? Why did you put Gucci suit in here, and then MF Doom has a small, like a 2-second cameo in here? It's just odd
it's like Doom is walking through the Rockefeller Plaza like studios at NBC and accidentally walks in the door and is like, whoop, this is Saturday Night Live. I was going to Katie Couric. My bad. Sorry. Leaving now.
I get to see Doom walking into a random studio and just going on the mic to say 3 words and then walks away and then never comes back, exits the door. Everybody's like, was that Doom? Maybe it was Imposter Doom. Who knows?
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
Let's keep it in there. Yeah, we're going to keep it in there. Leave it.
Yeah, I really want to know the story of why Doom gave not a bar. A bar requires 4 lines. 3 lines. Why he gave 3 lines to this. And, maybe like I'll give it the most serious answer because I don't know exactly what the story is behind it. Maybe it was like not fully finished and they just decided to create a motif around it. But like it feels like a sample. Like he could have just sampled like some random lines from an MF Doom song and thrown it into the album, right? Like it just doesn't really make sense. And West Side Gun and Jay Electronica, it's like Mount Rushmore for old heads. The song itself works out well enough. Once I get over my like little Doom thing, and like it's a cool kind of thing. Like on second or third listen, it bothered me a little less. But the first time I'm like, you threw up an MF Doom like feature on there, all right? Like I was expecting a lot more than I got. And I kept like looking my first time as I was listening to the track, and I was like looking at the get closer to like the end of the track, and I'm like, yeah, where's the rest of Doomverse? Where is that?
That's it. It's just 2 seconds. And then they just do this whole random thing at the end with the Gucci suit theme. And I'm like, that's just the randomest song in the world. It's so many ideas can like put into one song. It just doesn't work.
I'm sure at some point it was a great idea conceptually, but it could have been better, obviously, with like a longer, more of a Doom verse with him sort of like elaborating on that instead of like West Side Gun doing that for him. And again, like West Side Gun's fairly capable of that. Like no replacement for Doom, no one is, but West Side Gun's definitely a great rapper. So at least there's that. At least he didn't have like Gunna do it. That would have been absolute heresy. I would have been much more upset if it was like someone who actually cannot rap to Doom's caliber. So at least there's that.
This is just a thing. This is just an idea that didn't work. That's it.
Yeah. And then you have another feature. So I didn't like realize it's sort of feature heavy, but it's really sparsed out. And the picks you have, especially through the latter half of the album, are like some of my personal favorites. Like you have Puerto Rico with Lucky Day, which I think was really nice. Temporary Love, IDK and Sir, loving myself some Sir. And Keto with Shui Lee, Free Slim Jimmy, and Rico Nasty. I really, really like that song. I really did.
I was going to say, I want to go to Keto because I really, really enjoy this song, actually. Normally, I don't like Shui Lee as a feature, but I actually really like him in this, which is surprising for me. Because normally, like his voice or his flow, I don't normally enjoy or anything, but it's fantastic.
Yeah. I loved me some Rico Nasty, and this is a great pairing. Like,
Rico Nasty was hard.
Yeah, like this, like sort of like, alternative trap and B collective of artists, like your Amines, your Sminos, your IDKs,
Mhm.
your Rico Nasties, your Lucky Days, um, your Sirs. Love them, love all of them. Keep making music together. All of your sounds together are awesome.
I think the biggest thing with those tracks too is the production is unique, especially in the way of the album too, where it stands out on its own, but it still can fit conceptually within the album too. So I think those are the big things, the takeaways from that too.
100%. And then to the rest of the album, you have yeah, there's Hey Auntie. Gotta go to that one. Hey Auntie is like a deep. Remember when I was on my way to your place earlier this week, and I was like,
Oh, it was Hey Auntie?
Yep, yeah, that was the one. Yeah, it's a very autobiographical story. It goes into IDK talking about a molestation incident that happened allegedly, and yeah, that's a pretty big thing, but it kind of sets up the end of the album to, I'll say this, it ends really, really well.
Yeah,
You have
I like
that.
the two end songs.
Yeah. Closure is like an ending interlude, but yeah, Hey Auntie and then Cry in Church. That whole church thing, like it's a really good, it's not like, Migos do songs that are like, religious themes and about, death and all this different stuff. And it's, bullshit, right? But no, like IDK has got talent. He brings his game. He brings real emotion here as well. And I really enjoyed listening to that part.
I mean, and the scene to Cry in Church too is Seven Streeter her feature was fantastic in this track too. Really good with with her vocals and everything. The contrast between her and IDK was fantastic. Sounds good.
Yeah. I've got to get into more Seven Streeter because I've heard her a little bit, but
Mhm.
she recently did a song with ASAP Ferg and the Beater though, so we'll think about it. More on that later.
More on that later. Even his dog, yo.
Man, but yeah, so I'm not going to, for the purposes of keeping this podcast a little bit shorter than it could be, I'm not going to compare this album to Vince Staples' project that was released earlier this week on the merits of like, whether it was like better than the other or not. And I'm not really gonna like rule on it or like the whole like drop versus album kind of comparison, because this is by our normal things an album. And I think it does a decent, passable, pretty good job, although not perfect job, of telling its story and getting through its stuff. There are definitely some things that are like more filler in here than others, but for an IDK product, there's less filler in here than there has been.
Yeah,
So it's better.
I like it a lot more than the one we reviewed 2 years ago. I think it's a lot more thought out. There's some pretty good tracks in here, and there's ideas that miss, and there's a lot of ideas that hit. So it's a step in the right direction for him for sure. It's a decent album.
Yeah, like it. Arbitrary Scale, Tour de France bystander signs. Because we always do arbitrary scales in Audioface. I'm going to give this a dusk to dawn, because it always is like Doom's making cameos, Tiger Woods is making cameos, so we're gonna have a dusk to dawn award, making its cameo in Paris, France, and just hitting someone in the face.
This is a random country's flag of nobody that is participating in the Tour de France, and the guy's just running up to the leader with that flag. It's like some, like, I don't know, insert random country here of Uzbekistan flag or something. A dude's running up to a dude who's definitely from Slovakia riding up in the yellow jersey. You're like, what are you doing with that flag, dude? Okay. And then the rider's having to punch him out of the way, and the flag is like caught up in his bars and everything. It's just a whole disaster.
Real
poetry.
I was thinking of that flag being Antarctica. Like Antarctica having like cyclist racers. It's like going for it.
Why not?
This is their first chance, the Tour de France. It was looking so well for them, and then nope.
Nope.
Wrong.